Yeah, there was a lot to read, and the best part is I didn't actually click go live on YouTube, so you guys just listen to it all. It's recorded. I'll have to upload it later for the commercials, but everybody else is gonna miss the commercials, and yeah, we'll start over again. Hello, Yeti Nation. Now 10 seconds into it. So as usual, hopefully we got our little gaff out of the way, but we might as well start off just by telling everybody. Me and Dave went to MV together, and Dave Sikosi was actually the first person I ever saw that could really handle the ball that way with a stick. I was like, oh my God, this is a different level. And then as we saw some of the other guys, like it's just different than anything I grew up with. So, Dave, we might as well jump right in there. When did you start playing lacrosse?
I was probably 7 years old, a little fiddlestick in the backyard. But I didn't really get into it until probably sixth grade. I had a buddy up in Lowville invite me to a clinic, and I won a helmet, the old back rack helmets with the tie in the back. It was the coolest, newest helmet out, and that's how I got started. Didn't put it down since. Still haven't. 41.
I was just gonna say, and you have long outlasted me in this sport. I never played again after college. That was the end of my playing. I actually didn't play it again until my nephew started, and I got a stick again, started throwing. I forgot how much I loved and missed it, and unfortunately, yeah, you actually, like you said, you held on to it. So, Paul, you were the coach at MVCC. That was quite the experience. You had Dave and maybe a couple other kids who knew how to play lacrosse, like Pat Now, and there was like a handful of guys that had experience, and the rest of us were kind of hockey players trying it out.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a memories that I'll always remember. That's for sure. As far as got my first W with you guys, it was quite an experience up
Mine
at the
too.
Jefferson community. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's so many to them. I mean, Dave scores the go ahead as he's getting ready to go score the go ahead game winner. I call a timeout, and he comes over to the bench. What are you doing?
Yeah. I got it.
Memories like that. I have those memories like you guys when I still got the game ball that y'all gave me signed. So
Nice.
it's an experience that was who knew where it'd be 23 years ago, where it would be now. How the evolution and how time brings us all back together. Love it. It's an experience that you want to what it win lose draw. You want to what it's a great game.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
great
we
game.
it's definitely brought so much to me and I'm sure you guys as well. But I mean, it is funny without this sport, definitely Blue Squatch wouldn't have started. So Paul, what made you decide you wanted to coach at MV? We're going to start with you, then we're going to ask Dave how he ended up there. I'll kind of give my spiel, but how did you end up at MVCC as our coach?
I got the opportunity to coach with Coach Leary up at SUNY Poly, and after coaching there with him a year, I had an injury and I was out of coaching for a year. And MVCC position popped up, and I had always thought about it. It was something that was interest to me, and it came down to they needed a coach, or their season was done. I was able to talk to my boss that I still work with 23 going on 24 years later. And they said that they would arrange my schedule so that I could do some coaching. And I talked to the wife. We had just at that point in time had twins. So we had three kids at this point in time. And, it's not too often
Shout out Jen Necker. Without
Jen
her
Necker.
being such a saint, none of this would ever happen. I could just
God bless
imagine
her.
us in charity with baby twins and an older child. If I could go coach a college team, yes, God bless you, Jen.
Oh, not only a college team. At that point in time, I was also coaching my Tri-City club.
The Tri
Yeah,
City
our post
Dogs.
collegiate. Yeah, and in the USCLA, and
Yeah, the
that
travel team.
right there took that was a travel team. So I was out of town on doing that stuff there as well. And she is like you said, she is a saint who's let me had the opportunity to explore the different avenues of lacrosse. And I took it you want to a high school education, getting to coach a college. What more could I ask for?
Getting to
Absolutely, I
coach at
took the
college,
opportunity.
playing against Team USA. I mean, you have really taken this sport and used your ability to take it to the pinnacle. And I mean, Dave, so I mean, we talked a little bit about this before, but how did you end up at MV playing? I mean, was it the schooling or was it strictly to play lacrosse? I know I went there to play hockey.
I wanted to play lacrosse and started out at Plattsburgh State. Didn't work out too well. So my family said I got to move closer. So MVCC, here I come. And that's where I meet Mr. Paul Noecker over there. And I'm playing with him ever since, to be honest.
Yeah, you kind of never left Paul. So since the MV, you played. How long did that Tri City Dogs? I mean, it's still a team, correct? Or is it a different name?
Tri-City, yeah, no, well, Tri-City, the organization is still 40, going on 43 years strong this year. And I took an opportunity. I went down to Baltimore right before I got the MVC job, and I put a bid in for the post collegiate club. It was before the PLL and the MLL, and that's what the pros played, was in this post collegiate club, USCLA. So I went down there and I put a bid in for entering the upstate league, and they accepted my bid. And from there, Tri-City still, once the MLL came about, the post collegiate the club scene, that it dried up because it took all the pros. That's where the pros played, and so it dried up, and
It kind of like it's like the MSL up north though, where there's so few teams that are in the MLL, so few teams that are in the PLL. It kind of, like you said, it dried up that league. But essentially, you guys, I mean, you played club lacrosse right from then until, I mean, you're still doing it.
Well, but yeah, we still have teams that go and travel around to the Placid tournament. There's still a couple guys that I know, Dave and the Miziaks, and Brandon Davis and Jimmy Fay, and a whole gaggle of the Tri-City guys. They've hit up a couple of tournaments, and it's all field. But as far as they travel down to New Orleans, down to Florida, and they
How is it?
love the
Hang on.
field game.
We got. How is it playing in New Orleans? That is so muggy down there. That must have been pretty tough.
That one, you didn't go. I know they ran into some storms, I believe. So there was a limited amount of playing time, I believe. I think it turned into more bar time anyhow.
That's how you.
But that happens up in Lake Placid as well. There's been years we've gone to. I've been up to Lake Placid 30. Well, I've missed a couple of years now, but I try to at least get in there a day. 35 years. Tri-City is an original 8 of the Lake Placid tournament. So
that's
as
awesome.
far as it's a pilgrimage, there's guys that haven't missed a year.
Hot Rod's talking. He's quitting smoking now for it. He hadn't had a cigarette like all day, and he's like, I'm getting ready for Placid. He's like, I want to be in a little bit better shape. So I mean, it is cool. It does so much like that. So then you guys did that right up until, and then the Yeti kind of evolved with a lot of the Tri-City guys, essentially, with some imports.
Yes. As far as then the pandemic, well, we were right before the pandemic. We had a game. Bob Leary was out at Marion University. He brought his team out east to do a little Bob Leary tour, and one of them was putting together. We got a box game inside the Utica auditorium, so that was the start of it. That was the start of it right there, and from there, that's I started building the concept that we're going to have some box, and then of course a pandemic comes in, and that took a year away from where we would be, but it was good because it gave us a year to build on the foundation and
well, it also
get
brought
everything
you
put in place.
It brought you a ton of experienced guys like Dave. You've played lacrosse forever. Have you ever played box before, or was box a new thing for you?
I started box with Neil Paulus for the Stingers in like 2013, 2014.
Not a bad guy to
Neil for a long time too.
Yeah,
that was my experience, and he took me under his wing for a while. So I haven't looked back. I love the game way more than field, but now that I go out, I'm playing masters now on field twice a week, and it's easy compared to box.
Yeah, no, you got to feel like you got all kinds of time. I mean, and Neil, what an ambassador he is to the sport. And that's what I was going to say is the pandemic actually did bring kind of Neil to the Yeti, and you guys were able to teach so many field guys. But so how long did you play with the Stingers then, Dave?
It was about a year. We had a little run where we played against the Voyagers, and we were in, what's that Syracuse facility called?
War Memorial.
Yeah, we did a couple things in there, and then kind of phased out a little bit. lack of money. That happens. And then you find what you can find. And then the Yeti came around.
Oh, so you got to play then, and then it was just pick up here and there until the Yeti came around?
Yeah, I actually joined IBLA, which was the league before this one, and was playing for the Auburn Aviators in Massachusetts for probably 2 years, 3 years.
All right,
So
so you kept up a little bit. I was going to ask, so what was that like? I mean, one, to get to play with a legend like Neil Paulus, that's so cool for your initial experience, but that change going from you were always an attackman, somebody who, no offense, but you were never known for your speed. We never expected you to run, from one end of the field to the other, but you had the incredible stick skills. I mean, you really were, especially at college, you would have been an amazing box player back then.
I've always liked being in tight. Like, I like people when they're on me. I like feeling a little bit of pressure and then make them do what you want them to do. So it kind of translates to box pretty well. Just vision, just being able to keep your stick in tight is huge.
No, you were the guy that
So
no,
worked
you
out.
absolutely. You taught me basically that when you thought you had somebody covered, it wasn't necessarily true.
No, one step play need.
Yeah, no, and well, not only the one step, but you really were the first guy that took the movements that you gave somebody, like when you put your hand on somebody's hip, basically as you're coming in with the cross check, and you would feel it and you would change directions, or you would throw the fake where it was like, oh, and then. I mean, you were the first guy I ever saw throw the backhand too. Instead of switching both hands, you would hear teams yell, oh, he's lefty, and then all of a sudden you would just spin around and throw it behind the back. If you scored, it was great. If not, Paul was screaming, overhand, switch hands.
Yeah. No
And what a difference that is in regards to the field game and the coaching. In the field, you're switch hands, right, left. You got to have both hands. In the box, if you're a lefty, don't get me wrong. I see several players. They do have the ability to go with their opposite hand very strong, but it's not a pounded in like it is in the field game. Field game coaches are. I've seen it, and I'm sure I probably barked a couple times myself in regards to doing, things that you normally don't do. How Dave used to play, how Blaine Stotler plays, a little unorthodox, orthodox, moving it around. It's a normal thing in the box, but on the field, it's like, who's that? Why is he showboating? It's not showboating. It's part of your golf bag. I got a 9. You want all the right clubs to have in your golf bag. Well, it's the same thing with lacrosse. You got to be able to. I mean, I'm telling you, it was a that catch that Blaine made coming out of the. I'm so sad that Beecher, you weren't there, because it was a catch where he came across the middle, sliding on his knees, catching a Blaine pass, and then just snapping it back behind it. And I'm like, where does this come from? How do you practice that? But that's the type of stuff that kid thrives on. He's good at it. And it was a biter for the fact that we had too many guys. We jumped the gun on coming out of the door. So, good call by the officials. And it took one off the board, and that definitely, we'll get away from that for a second. Anyhow, but the things that you coach in field sometimes are, why are you throwing it behind the back? Why are you giving a shovel pass? Yeah, sometimes it seems that way, and I didn't like that. Let the kids play. Same with the 52-inch stick. You want to know what? There's no other team that really ever uses a 52-inch stick. Well, you want to know what? It's why not try it? You can do it. And, now you have that leverage on the
I had one. I remember you cut it off, you gave it to me, and you were like, here you go. And I was like, what is this? And you were like, yeah, I think it's going to work pretty well for you and your style. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And it did. I had it until it got broken. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. I mean, it was definitely interesting. Nobody else. Yeah, I'd never seen anybody else with it.
Yeah, it's something. You want to know what? Sometimes you can sneak one the officials aren't noticing, and you got 4 or 5 poles on the floor. It happens. When if you can lose, you must, but always throw a little squirrel in there. That's all.
You're not trying if you're not cheating.
I wasn't going to say it. Thank you. Did I teach you that? It wasn't me, was it?
So, I mean, Dave, playing all this field and then you get into box, and then unfortunately, it's not like when you first started playing competitive again with the IBLA and you were with that team. How was that physically on your body? I mean, because at that point you weren't, as young as we were in college, and now it's a very physical sport. It's very taxing on your body.
Yeah. I still remember my first practice with the Stingers, and I'm coming down the field and I get a cross check and someone's breaking their stick over my arm. And I'm like, oh, geez, this is what I'm expecting to see every day. But honestly, with the rib pads and the arm guards, it's not that bad. You get the woodies out there, yeah, it hurts a little bit. You get some eggs on your arms from the throw to the stick, but other than that, you get used to it over the years. I don't know. I've been beat up quite a bit, playing hurt in probably 90% of my career, so you kind of just learn to deal with it.
Well, I mean, you're actually probably in better shape now than you were in college, honestly.
You think so?
I do. Like in college, you had more of like the baby face. Like you seem to have lost. You actually, the first time I watched you again, I thought you were faster. I was like, wow. I mean,
I appreciate
it'd been 20 years since I'd seen you too, so it could have been that. But I remember actually telling my nephew when he was learning to play, I was like, there was this kid Dave on my team, and I always said at Sikosi, I said, and he proved to me that any way you can get the ball in the net is the right way. You need to be able to throw that ball from every position. I said, you have to learn overhand first and foremost, and that's what you're going to do at practice. But when you're home, you need to be making those silly passes. And when you watch guys like you were just happened to be the first guy I saw do it. And then we played Onondaga Community College, and they had a lot of guys that did that kind of stuff, and it was insane. But it was, it's it's really a different sport. What did you when you go up against versus a long pole and a short pole playing D, like is there a difference in your approach or how does that work?
long pole. I just like to get inside. They can't do anything if you're in tight. But they can't swing that stick and knock the ball out your stick unless you're 6'5". But I can still roll off. You still try to roll off them like that, but I don't like to give them too much room. I like to get in tight, again, feel their body and roll off them whatever way their body weight's going.
It's very similar to the way you play box, where you just kind of get your body in on the guy that's playing out for you, and then you kind of dictate what you're doing from that position. Yeah, it's a
field. I like to make the defender do what I want them to do. In box, it's a little different for me. I like to make eye contact with my fellow lefty and play off them that way.
So
and team, honestly, 2-man team, 3-man team. Can't do it myself.
No, absolutely. And so what was it like? I mean, you go from playing at MV where you had a couple guys that know how to play, but then you were playing with that club team, which obviously had a lot of guys. Was that the first time you were part of like a team that had that much experience, or was your youth program going up a team that could pass and catch and everything? Because where I played, most kids, so in 10th grade was my first experience. Then they had a JV team. Like our high school just got a modified team. We only have modified and varsity. We don't even have a JV. Lacrosse is not that big around here. It's growing and it's gotten a lot bigger than when I was younger, but it's still not that. So what was your youth experience? Was it
just like yours? Honestly, Lauville had it probably 3 years before I started playing. So, you had 18 guys on your team and 4 of them never played before. So you're just trying to play as much as you can to get the experience to be good. My first year in modified, I was 4th line, and I still remember a girl who played over me. I didn't like that, so stuck in the backyard every day. And then next year, leading scorer and best player on the team until I got to college, and then you start playing on these other teams, and you're like, holy cow, some of these other guys are pretty good. I'm not a guy that's going to take the ball every time anymore, so you have to kind of adjust how you're playing the game.
Yeah, no, that was, I'll admit, that was our offenses. I would either run down and take a shot, or we would try to find Dave and isolate him. I mean, that was, so I mean, Paul, when you're game planning an MV offense, essentially, was that the plan? Give it to Dave and hope for the best?
Well, we had some players out there. I mean, you had Mikey Grant.
Who I
You
got to
had
see the very first time I went out there, he was still playing.
Yeah. Mikey Grant was just up until a year and a half ago. He got back into snowboarding again. So he, with little guys, he got into the snowboarding
You got to pick
and
what you want
got
to do.
his exactly. So, but he's still he'll be at the games. I'm sure he'll be at the games. I know he's an avid fan on the website and everything, watching and everything. So that's an awesome stuff. But you had a Mikey Grant who came from Delhi. He was a Rome kid that I knew and came from Delhi. You had what was Junior's name? Kevin Meyer. You had some guys that if Kevin wasn't injured because he stepped on a fork, a pitchfork, or some sort of silly thing, you had some players that could play. Ryan Thomas, but you had a lot of guys that never, ever played before.
Yeah, no,
That
there was.
maybe they were on the track team, and when they got there, you had the opportunity to give these kids. I just seen Ryan Thomas, his son plays for our summer league program, so he came up. Was it last year or the year before? And he's like, "Coach, you remember me?" I'm looking at him, and the face was still the same,
Yeah.
a little pudgier like all of us, except for Dave, because Dave's in shape now.
Yeah.
But as far as it slapped me. Ryan. He's like, Ryan, you remember, sometimes there's so many
No,
people
yeah,
that
there
have to
was
go through. It's
there
like,
was a
wow.
bunch. Like Schleicher played on our team. He was another guy that had some stick
Yep.
skills coming into it. I'm exaggerating it when I say that, obviously, but like I learned so much just from the other guys. I remember Pat Now was one of
Patty
the other.
Now.
Yeah, he
Patty
with the
Now
long
from
pole,
Rochester.
and he
Yep.
actually like taught me like the poke check. Because you said it. I remember asking him. I was like, "What the fuck's a poke check?" I was
Hey,
like,
I got you just answered a trivia question. Who was the first person to score a goal for me coaching at MVCC?
and I
Now,
Pat Now.
yeah, with a
He
long
scored
pole.
it with the 52 inch. Do you know who it was against?
I don't.
It's going to be Herkimer. That was our first. Our first goal was against. He scored it. My first was against Herkimer, and Coach Wareham was sitting there chirping. We weren't chirping at but if you had an opportunity to see Coach Wareham coach, that's what it's all about. And we're talking back and forth, and he had said something, and I didn't even see it happen, and I'm like, it figures. I didn't even see my only goal against Herkimer and the first goal against Herkimer, but it was all great. Some of that stuff, the guys backed up. Patty Now, haven't heard that name in 23 years. That's awesome.
either.
I hadn't even thought about it till all of a sudden we were talking, and I was like, "What was that kid's name?" And I was like, "Patty Dow." I remember because he used to. He was one of those like Ty Hill guys. He had when you watched him run, you knew who he was just from the way he moved, and he had a very sleek style with a long pole. Like he was very silky with that long pole. He didn't look like a defender, skinny kid, but what a great young man he used to be. I wonder whatever happened to him. Anybody? Oh my goodness.
23 years ago, he played the one season, then went back to Rochester after that. Timmy Honors. I'm still in contact with Timmy Honors.
That was a goalie, right?
Yeah. As far as we're on
Crazy.
Facebook, he's a doctor now.
Holy shit!
He's a doctor, and I believe he lives in Colorado, and he does marathons. He does. He's a huge.
He scored once, didn't he? At least. I think he ran all the way down once. I don't know if he scored, but I remember him. He was known to run down the field occasionally if we were a little lazy and didn't get open.
Well, we were tired probably because there was 12 people.
Yeah, a couple of those games were a little rough. I remember when you told me I was going to play midfield. I was like, at that time, I was 210 pounds. I was built to be stationary, basically. I was like more like a brick than a runner. And you were like, hey, guess what? You're playing midi now. And sometimes you're going to run off the field and get this short stick. I was like, that just sounds awful.
Rotate.
I still remember our goalie, the other kid was a hockey player.
Which one? Hold on one second. As a goalie, it was as a goalie.
He was the college goalie. His girlfriend was the trainer too there. She used to tape her ankles.
Back of the knees.
That was Sam. Sam. What was Sam's? His parents owned a tailor shop at the New Hartford. Sam. Something with the vowel at the end. Now you gotta but yeah, it's Sam. I remember Sam. Yeah, he would wear the shin guards. He had baseball shin guards on.
Way smarter than the every other goalie I've ever seen. I've seen no
Something
way.
wrong with them.
I can wrap my head around box goalie. Like you put on all them pads, it's like okay, I can kind of understand that at least. But I'm still gonna flinch and close my eyes when it comes because I think that's a natural human reaction. You don't want to be, hit, especially in the face with it. But yeah, no way would I ever get in a field net. Those guys are absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was a great experience, no question. No question. Something that I know that I still have fond memories. And you want to know what the best part about it is? I'm still hanging out with the guys that I was able to coach 20 some years ago. So that's, and now to see their kids doing the things, David's boys are now playing ball. Evan and Beecher, your kid's involved helping you out doing that.
Well,
That's cool.
one helps
What's
stream, and
really
the other
cool,
one just started playing lacrosse.
yeah,
I mean, and now
yeah.
it's a brand new program, so we've gotten to see, and that was really cool to watch. Though, so their very first scrimmage, I felt so terrible, but each quarter got better and better and better. To the last game, I think they scored 6 goals. Were tied going into halftime. Like it was competitive. It was like that was really cool to watch the growth of it like that.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. No question. Now, in regards, I got to give a shout out to Seamus and Nate Noecker. No question.
Oh my God, I was just doing those highlights today. Hang on, let me do the shout out because those two guys, so they did that first game in Utica with literally 30 seconds of instruction. So everybody who's wondering how that Utica Yeti game was done, they had 30 seconds of instruction in the back of my car while some lady thought we were doing a drug deal in the parking lot because I was trying to give them video equipment. It was like, it was terrible. I didn't even notice her because I was just trying to show them. I'm like, this is how you set it up. This is where everything plugs in. This is how you run the replays. And yeah, so when I saw that stream pop up, I was like, oh my goodness, you two pulled it off. I don't know how you did it because there's no way I could have. And then I remember our first stream where we didn't get the audio going until halfway through. And then our second stream where it all got deleted because we didn't stop the recording. And so yeah, they far surpassed us then. And then their second stream, it was crazy. I went through those highlights today. It was nuts. They were so good, on point, keeping the camera focused on where it needed to be. Yeah, no, huge shout out to those two. The Utica Yeti streams are very soon going to far surpass Blue Squatch, I think, with those two running the show because night and day difference already. And yeah, huge shout out to Nate Noecker and Seamus. It's Dutcher, right?
Dutcher, yeah. Shay Dutcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
And once again, it doesn't happen if you didn't do it, Beecher. So we thank you there very much. As far as it's a family affair to say the least, and with saying that right there, family affair, I want to get into it because I know time is flying here, but I want to give a shout out to all the people that traveled up to Oswego. I want to say Yeti Nation, thank you very much for the representation and for cheering as loud as they were. It was a great crowd. I want to say we probably easily had 50 fans there. So I want to say thank you very much for them for making the travel up there to, it actually was a very comfortable setting inside Oswego. It was perfect weather condition in regards to about 63 out, and
everybody that wasn't playing kept their clothes on.
Everybody that wasn't playing kept their clothes on. No pregame rituals taking place, so that's a good thing. The game itself, it was I'm very proud of both teams in regards to they kept their composure. You want to talk about young guys and older guys that were battling the battle of box lacrosse at its highest level, and these guys, if there was a skirmish to start, you know what, they self-governed each other, and there was no skirmishes. I mean, you had your typical jerk, whatever, get out of here, push off type of thing, but nothing went beyond that. So very proud of clearly the Yeti, very proud for that, and a shout out to Oswego for the sportsmanship with the adversity of rookie officials who did a great job. You want to know what? for being thrown into the Lions' den. They did their best, and both teams came out safe. Nobody was injured majorly. Your normal bumps and bruises, but they did the best that they could do. So shout out to the officials on doing what they could do to get that game in, and it was a great game.
Well, without them, you wouldn't have played.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have
and once
counted. It
again,
would have been like that first Yeti, the very first Yeti game I ended up at. So I couldn't
Exactly.
believe when I saw Dave there at the very first Yeti game too. I was like, this bastard's still running. I mean, I was in pretty good shape, I thought, and I was like, how is Dave still up running around and playing? I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Just don't stop. You can't stop.
Don't ever
100% don't stop moving.
Run it.
Since I
Exactly.
can't move from my hip, everything else has gotten so much worse. It is terrible. Don't stop moving. Once you have to stop, it is so hard to get started again.
Run it till it's broken, and don't run no more. That's my theory, and that's why I don't run no more, because it's broken.
'Cause it's broken. I love it. That's awesome. So, Paul, tell us a little bit about the games this year. Are going to be so much more than a just a game. I'm going to throw the schedule up here and cover my ugly mug up while you talk about it. So, you had your first game against Oswego. Obviously, things didn't quite go the Eddie way, but part of lacrosse's life is learning, growing. It's only a loss if you don't learn and get better. June 21st, playing the Serpents.
We are at home. We
And
are playing the Serpents. They actually, I just released another player tonight in regards to say growing the game. A gentleman that was practicing with us all spring, right up until today. AJ Gibson, he contacted me, and as far as he's going to head over and play with the Serpents. So, they're definitely getting a quality player. There's a couple guys that are now going to be playing with those guys that they ran with us last year. And
well, their GM is Patty Crosby.
Patty Crosby, Justin Warner's going to be running with them. Raj is running with them, and now AJ Gibson's going to be running with them. So, they're getting some quality guys, some quality players that's going to help them grow their game down there as well. So that's on the 21st. I'm excited about that. It's going to be our home opener. It's no longer just a game. We're going to get it out there to let everybody know that we are going to be having live entertainment. We're going to be doing pregame inside the Utica Club Lounge. Our first game is going to have.
Don't let the lounge fool you, though. They have got some amazing food up there. They've got some great drinks, but the food, don't let the lounge fool you. We have eaten there several times, including one time we weren't supposed to eat it, but that's a whole other story. We'll get into it. But the food is always amazing there.
It is. Mehmet does a great job. Him and his wife and his family. Once again, I love the concept. There's a lot of family involved with the Nexus Center and obviously with the Yeti, and they've stepped up. They're helping out. We're allowed to do some pre-gaming, so we're going to do the pre-game. Starts at 6:15. Plainfellow will start out the season jamming from 6:15 to 7:15. At 7:15, we'll start doing the announcements for the Yeti game. Maybe get a couple T-shirts thrown out into the crowd, get people warmed up a little bit. A national anthem, and then we're going to get into the game, and then a great game it'll be. Following the game, not to rush things, but to follow the game. Nobody has to leave anymore. Years past, we would cruise down in an awesome environment it was down at Bag Square, but right now we're going to be right back upstairs to the club, to the Utica Club Lounge, and we're going to have a after party tailgate, I guess you would say. The band Plainfellow is going to be coming back in and doing a one more set and end the night with some great music, with some Yeti autographs, with some family members getting some pictures and having some fun. We also have some vendors that we're going to be having.
Crafty Beach will be there. That'll be awesome. I can't wait to Bella's really excited. It looks like Paul froze for a second, Dave. You're still
we have
live,
Brand
though.
Portland. What's that? I'm still live.
You were frozen for a second, but then you came back. We've got Brand Y, which I'm super excited about to finally
Yes.
get to actually meet him instead of just drink the drinks, which is going to be awesome. So we'll get to meet him there and get.
Brand Y is going to be there. Yep. Crafty Beach is going to be there. We also have Beartown Maple. It's right up the road from me. I don't know, Dave, if you remember Francis Simile. Remember
Yep.
Francis?
Yep.
Francis actually was an MVCC player my very, very first year. You guys were the second year, but Francis played the first year with me. And as far as he has a small little business, him and his son, Jake, that it's right up the road from me. It's called Beartown Maples, and they're going to be there doing some maple samples and everything, maple tree candy, and selling their product. So I'm excited about that. It's not just going to be a game. It's going to be a little bit of an event. You know, the doors open early. People can come watch and hang out, watch the guys warm up, maybe catch a couple balls that get into the stands and fill up the doggy bag as they roll out of there. As
But
far
a
as
back to back though, then you're traveling
back
up
to
to
back,
Thousand Islands. That is a tough. You set yourself up. You guys want to, you definitely put your men in a position that they're going to prove themselves. Has conditioning been a big factor at practice, I mean, it's at this point it doesn't really matter. You can't work on it at practice. Guys either do it at home or they don't.
exactly. And you want to what we're talking about, just talked about Dave earlier, how he's looking good. The guys have been doing their work. From what we can see, you want to what there hasn't been a ton of huffing and puffing, no puking in the bucket or anything like that. So that's a quality thing. The guys that put their time in, it's go time. Now we're behind the eight ball a little bit with losing to Oswego, but that just means we got to work harder and beat them by 5 goals instead of losing by 4. So it's a matter of
Well, I was just gonna say, so that's one thing. Let's actually jump into this a little bit because a lot of the people watching have watched NLL games. We might have some Can-Am people out there watching, but essentially, you guys have a 6-game season. There's 3 other teams in your division. It's a 4-team division, and then you guys have playoffs based off of the season. But the season really matters for your seeding and for who gets to host the playoffs.
correct. Yes, one will play 4, 2 will play 3. And last year it came down to a penalty that separated second place and third place. We were tied with Oswego on every stat, whether it was from goals to records. Everything was completely the same, all the way down to the penalties. We had 2 minutes of less penalties than they did, which gave us the home playoff game. So, stats, they do matter. And that's one great thing. I'm not going there. I want to, but we definitely got to work on technology. That's for sure. As far as getting the stats in, so that's one thing I'm greatly appreciative to Molly Leary for what she does, because the stats that she gets in, and it's not a slam on anybody. It's tough to.
Not everybody has a Molly Leary though. That's the problem,
Molly Leary.
unfortunately.
But and a lot of us, exactly. If I was doing it, guess what? I'm doing the same thing that the good old boys up in Oswego did, is taking pictures and sending it to you, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to so having a Molly Leary is a joy and a delight, having somebody that is world class. She's running the world games in regards to that goes, all the scoring and everything. So there's so much that has happened throughout the the growth of this. So I'm very excited about it.
That though, Neil Powlis is how old now and still scoring goals? Like, I'm just looking through the stats real quick. So Blaine still had 2 goals. So that would have been a hat trick for Blaine with that crazy slide. I'm so mad
No,
we
he
didn't
he
make.
would have had 4. He would have had
Oh,
4 on the night. He had a dunk that was called back as well because he landed in the crease. Imagine that. You land in the crease. Oh, that's right. The ball was in the back of the net
I
before
thought you
he
could land in
landed
the
in.
crease. I thought that was you
Oh,
guys played NLL rules, not.
that's
it.
right. That's right. You can land in the crease, but the problem is with the youthful nature of the officials. They didn't really understand the rule.
Hey, they called it a goal originally. I can tell you that.
They combined a couple times, got together and talked about it, and pulled a couple off. So,
But hang on, so let's talk about Uncle Jesse. He's another one of those ageless wonders you guys seem to have. How old is Uncle Jesse roughly? We don't need an exact age, but he just never.
He's in the
Mid-30s.
The mid-30s. We'll go.
But he runs like a 24-year-old out there.
And keeps on going. Yeah.
He has a motor. He doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to watch him because he never stops moving. It doesn't matter if he has the ball or not. He's just going 100 miles an hour. And Miller with 2 goals too. That's got to be, that's
2
awesome
goals,
for you
2
guys.
assists.
Yeah.
It was good to see some nice outside shots. Aaron Coleman got a goal. Nice transition goal. As far as things were going the right way. Just a lot of missed opportunities. Could we have pulled the ball out of a couple times instead of trying to force something in, get the right people on? Errant pass here and there. It happens. It was the first game, so we have something to learn from. Everybody. With listening to the chat on the chat box and just watching, everybody's taking it in great stride as far as everybody knows the mistakes that everybody made.
And there's always something to learn from it, and at least it was stuff that can be corrected.
Exactly.
That's huge. And you guys have a lot of young players this year coming in to try to make up for some players that have left and kind of aged out of things. So you kind of, like you said, it is tough. You put yourself behind the 8 ball, but you got to take your lump somewhere.
And that's it. That's it right there. As far as Dave on the left side, the
well,
guys.
He's a rookie. I mean, me and Dave, we're young. We're like, chickens, spring chickens, basically. We're just getting out and after it.
It was a good showing. Like I said, their goalie made some big saves when they had to make some big saves.
Who was playing that for them?
Beck was
Kobe?
in there, and
Kobe Gibson's.
Yeah. What was his Beck? Isn't his last name Beck?
According to their stats, you got Beck had 15 saves and Kobe Gibson at 11.
Yeah,
I'm guessing because Kay Gibson. I'm guessing that's Kobe.
Yep, they switched it up at halftime, and as far as they played solid defense, and the ball was, we'll say, bounced in their direction. Because that's the ball bounced in. They scored more goals than us. Period.
That's simple, right? But hey, right, Paul, you've got family in town. We were supposed to do this for 30. We're already at 45 minutes. Dave, it has been absolutely inspiring to still watch you running around like you have been. I really appreciate getting to watch you and still watch your kids, getting to meet your wife and your in-laws that are at every game. They are awesome. I love, your whole family is great. They're so love seeing the little kids running around with the Yeti gear on. It's really. It's amazing because like my family goes and we've all got different parts of it. If you've never been to a Yeti game, you absolutely have to get out to one. And now with the band, it's going to be even better. Bella is really looking forward to being able to run the Crafty Beach table essentially while we're doing the streaming. Paul, I guess anything you want to sign us out with before we sign off for the evening?
First of all, if you can check out the Utica Yeti website. You can get on there, buy some tickets. You can either buy them at the door or buy them online. You'll probably not have to wait in line if you buy them online. I think there is a couple more dollars expense there, but that's just what New York State does for us. And as far as, but you can buy them online. You want to get there early. And enjoy the atmosphere. It's climate controlled, and you're going to have a great time inside. Like I said, Crafty Beach, the maple sugar, brand Y, music, lacrosse.
Hey, who's running your website now, Paul? Because everything's up to date. And oh my goodness! I'm just trying to seriously, who's running your website? Because it looks amazing. Everything's up to date. I've got a pretty new picture.
We got to get a new picture. That I did update it before we got the new jerseys in. So, speaking of such, I do have to throw this plug out there. At this point in time, on this Friday the 14th at 7 p.m., around 7:30, 7:45, we're having a public showing of the Utica Yeti jerseys at Bag Square Brewery. There's going to be a band, a young gentleman playing. I forget his name off the top of my head, but we've been invited down, and so we want to get it out there that this Friday night at Bank Square Brewery, the Utica Yeti that are in town that can make it down, we will be displaying, doing a little catwalk. Chris Ryan is setting up the catwalk concept, and we're going to introduce the public to the 2024 Utica Yeti.
That's amazing. Dave.
That's what it's.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome to see you. I guess what would you say is the biggest reason that you can still run and play this game at 40 years old?
Cool. I would say it's because I worked construction most of my life, and it helped me stay in shape. I would say that's probably a big help. I'm not sitting at a desk every day. It's a big difference.
No, sitting is bad. I've been doing a lot of sitting lately. I do love editing the videos. I love being able to clip the highlights, but sitting is bad for you. So yeah,
they keep me moving.
That's awesome.
Beecher, I can't Beecher. I can't wait to the 21st till we get Blue Squatch inside the Nexus. It's going to be an awesome time, an awesome event. Utica Yeti.
You say that,
Yeti
but I'm
Nation.
telling you, the Noecker family and Noecker and the Dutchers, they're going to be out streaming me in no time. But Yeti Nation, Paul, without you, none of this happens. 20-something years ago, you decided to coach a team. It's kept guys like Dave Sikosi. Well, I'm pointing the wrong way. It's kept guys like Dave Sikosi with you. It's kept guys like me around you. You're doing amazing things, Paul Noecker. I mean, 20 years of people like us following you around because we love you, bud.
Appreciate
we
you.
Definitely appreciate you.
Much love. Yeti Nation, till next week. We'll talk to you then.
Yeah, Dave left. He didn't know he doesn't know we do a fake side off. Yeah, I didn't mean to make you cry there at the end, but it kind of occurred to me. I was like, holy fuck, man. How cool is this? Because I like looked at it from your perspective now that I've been like a scout leader and stuff. Like 20 years from now, if one of these kids comes up and they're like, "Hey, I fucking love you, bud. Thanks for everything you do," and it's like, yeah. Oh, I'm still talking.